Hello Sagittarius friends, I'm Annie Botticelli and welcome to my Sagittarius July 2025 astrology horoscope forecast. Wow, we've got another outer planet change this month after it being so rare. Outer planets changing signs anywhere between 1 year and 20 years. We've had in recent times Pluto, very recently Saturn and Neptune, very recently last month Jupiter, and now this month Uranus changing signs. So this is going to bring lots of changes of where these energies are influencing for you. We're going to target Uranus for this month's report. Also, we've got Mercury in retrograde, a reactivation of eclipse season, and lots of other things to discuss. This is for you if Sagittarius is your sun sign, your moon sign, your rising sign, or any other Sag placement you're listening for. What I'm going to talk about here is part of your astrological picture. I'm a Sagittarius as well with a ton of Sagittarius placements, so everything I read for you here is also for me. If you are a late degree Sagittarius placement like I am, so birthdays like December 15th through the rest of the sign, Sag degrees like 23 degrees through the rest of the sign, I suggest you additionally listen to my Capricorn report because us late degree Saggies, our chart looks more like the Cap chart, so we actually can benefit from both readings. All right, so I'm going to start with influences that are shorter term and build up to that big long-term change with Uranus. We'll talk about the new moon and full moon as well. So this is the place where I want to start is the sun. This is always Cancer time with the sun moving through Cancer. And so because of not only the sun moving through Cancer, but Jupiter starting a year through Cancer, we've got a month and then echoed out through a whole year of focus on home and family. Now, if you've been listening to my reports, you know that we had a very extended period of time with focus on home and family, with Mars having been there for the retrograde, a very long retrograde process. And now we've got new energies refreshing this space. So the sun, particularly here this month, there's going to be a lot of highlight on home and family. Your family may be needing things. You may be needing things from your family. Your home or housing may need attention. And all of this can bring great awesomeness, especially with Jupiter there expanding. So you may be getting news of expansion of your home space or family. But one very important thing to know is that this is water energy and we are fire signs. And although many blessings, personal, emotional connections, beautiful, memorable time with family, and, many great things can come from these transits. There is somewhat of a dousing of our fire energy occurring at the same time. So you may notice that certain situations are putting your fire out, or maybe certain people. And you may be finally learning the lesson who in your family you can tell things you're excited about and who you can't. If day after day, year after year, you go to tell someone something and they always are just putting you down or not as excited as you think they should be and you don't feel supported, this may be the time that you finally stop doing that. So there is, along with it, this potential of reclamation of personal power, and especially because this moves through the 8th house of personal power for Sagittarius. That is the Scorpio house. These are very deep, emotionally entangled, and in this case, financially entangled relationships. So, you'll notice that there's a lot of stuff going on. If you have a significant other, significant things may be going on with your partnerships. You may be receiving information or opportunities or having situations with your in-laws, maybe just wonderful, memorable time, maybe certain things having to do with legacy topics, or you may yourself be exploring wills and trusts and contracts that have to do with inheritances or be receiving something like that. Now, it is happening this year, and I'm very happy to tell you this, that we don't have a ton of other planets in Cancer at this same time. Sometimes Venus is there, it's not. Sometimes Mercury is there at the same time, it's not. So because of that, it's going to soften the, sort of watering down our fire effects. So that's a lot to celebrate. So it's very much in balance. This is a very balanced chart. If you podcast friends, I did put the chart as the thumbnail on my Buzzsprout account. So if you're listening on Spotify, you can look for Annie Botticelli, Astro Kisses Buzzsprout, and you can see the thumbnail there that has the chart if you want to get a visual on this. YouTube friends, of course, I'm writing on the chart as I'm speaking. But something I want you to notice about this month is just how well distributed all of these planets are. Other months, you may notice that there's a big congregation of energies in one area of the chart, making so much energy towards certain things. But this month, we've got this beautiful, nice distribution, giving a lot more balance through the elements, through the houses, which are fields of experience that we have. So, this is a much more balanced month. And for Saggies who tend to be zealots, like myself, I know this one well, it's really nice. I appreciate that about this month. So I'm just kind of noticing that. Now, we are going to have a lot of chances for deep, important discussions with people, emotional connections, money, things like that, not just from this 8th house having Jupiter long-term and the Sun short-term, but also because we've got 3 star goddesses congregating in the sign of Scorpio, which is what rules the 8th house. All right. So, this is time for close personal connections, people that are important to you, people that you want to build relationships with emotionally and financially. All right. So look out for those opportunities all month. It may or may not be a time for very extensive, new creativity, because we are in retrograde and, this water energy, like I said, is going to focus us more on the relationships than that creative space. But that being said, we do have Mercury in Leo. So let's talk about that. Leo rules the 5th house, which is the house of creativity and where we shine and where we feel like we glow brightly, with our efforts, with our personal expression. And that's exciting. That's a fellow fire sign to Sag, and it is moving for Sagittarius through our natal 9th house. Okay, so that means our Sagittarian things are being aspected by this energetic, which means that teaching, learning, education, your ideology, your systems, your ways of seeing things, your horizons, all of that may be expanded and broadened, but there is a tilt to the past. So if you've been watching my work for a while, I like to pull in these tidal analogies when we're in a retrograde month like this, which actually, let me just give you the dates on that. July 17th through August 11th, we're in Mercury retrograde. June 30th, we started the pre-retrograde shadow period, building into this retrograde. And then after it goes direct on August 11th, we still have until August 26th before Mercury is completely clear. Okay, so we're talking about July and August, where you're hanging out on the beach with the tides coming in and you are responding to what the tides bring you rather than trying to force things out on tides that are not going out. All right, so this is just a general energetic understanding that helps you to align your efforts with the natural rhythms so that things can be much easier for you. Your big launches, your big ship of dreams, your thing that you're trying to bring out that's never been seen or done before, your life's work. This isn't the best month to bring that out if possible, unless fate has brought this to you and it's out of your hands. But if you're the one doing the launching or making the decisions about the timing, this is more of an introspective and retrospective month. I'm going to issue the earthworm alert. Love my little animal friend messages. And the earthworm talks about going back over things. Ted Andrews, if you really like to look at animal symbolism and understanding the messages that the universe is giving us, he talks about how earthworm energy goes back over and over stuff. So the earthworm takes the soil in the front, puts the soil out the back, and gives us fresh, new, fertile soil for new crops and new experiences. So the retrograde is making us go backwards in order to later move forward. So you may be rethinking or redoing education. You may be updating courses that you teach, doing some updating or organizing there, preparing for a new launch. You may also be on a study bender. Classic Mercury retrograde is awesome for studying. So if you need to take tests or finals or do placement tests, this is an amazing month for that. If you've been involved in studying anything, you may find that this month is super conducive to this. And all of this water energy is perfect for that because it really lends this kind of like quiet, introspective mood for study and being exhilarated by your studies, but kind of being more internal. As you are not trying to conjure things to do, Saggies do often try to conjure things to do, right? We have an upward spiral energy. That's how Sagittarius moves. We're doing this, we're doing that, we're all over the place. And this water energy and this retrograde energy is helping us to kind of like go inward and deeper. So, you'll notice that. Travel plans, you may be going places far and wide because this ninth house is accentuated. You may go back to places that you've gone before. But as far as future travel plans, you might not have as much ease trying to plan future international things. Immigration, you may hear word back about something that you've been working on. And if you have not gotten the outcome you've wanted, this could be a great time to reapply. It's a great time to rethink your worldview, your current philosophy, your spiritual framework, and to just kind of assess what ways of thinking and being are no longer aligning with where you're going. You know, you might feel pulled to question things, question everything, and just go deeper into things. Okay, so let's see. You're going to have the benefit of Mars in Virgo in your house of work, all right, and career and employment. We say that where Mars goes, obsession flows, so you may see yourself getting super organized. Sixth house stuff, because Virgo rules the sixth house and Mars is moving through the sign of Virgo, but it's through your 10th house. And the sixth house and the 10th house both have things having to do with work, your daily work. And that coupled with the retrograde, you may find that you're redoing something. You may have, I know that I do, I'm having this summer a great reorganization process as I update, and I'm about to offer a new course offering and update my previous course offering, and all of that's going on behind the scenes, and you may see that you are doing something similar. So you may be working behind the scenes on things for the future, your resume, you know, your CV, whatever it is that you need to advance your work in the future. You may be working on those things behind the scenes this month. If you need a job, amazing time to be looking and researching. Going back to places or things that you've done before may be very beneficial to you because of this retrograde energy as well. And also one of your parental figures may need some extra work, or your connections with them, or they may be helping you. So Mars is going to help you to restructure and reorganize bodies of work that you have, writing projects, your desk, your life, your systems have a great chance to be reorganized and put into more efficiency. Sagittarius have many graces, and I appreciate them all. Unless you have other placements highlighted besides Sag that would be pointing towards this, by nature, Sagittarius is not super organized. If you are super organized, it's not because of your Sagittarius placement, okay? So Mars moving through Virgo can really help Sagittarius to be a little bit more structured, a little bit more efficient, and have to work a little bit less, which gives you more time for your flow, because you'll find that you're wasting time, you're wasting money, in certain arenas, and you'll be able to see that more clearly through the investigation and research that Mars in Virgo may want you to do at this time. Okay, now let's talk about this big behemoth that's going on. If you didn't listen to my June report, then definitely go back, because I talk about Saturn, Neptune, and really focus on Jupiter changing signs. But now we're going to talk about Uranus going into Gemini for the first time since 1949. This has an 84-year orbit, and it's in a sign for around 7 to 8 years. So we will have Uranus influencing Gemini for around 8 years. So it's kind of a big deal. Also for Sagittarius, this particular cusp, the first and eighth house axis here, is a crossroads energy. So you have been at crossroads with your relationships, and you may have noticed in recent months, and even a little longer than that, that key relationships have been changing. You may have someone that's become super erratic in your life, representing the lower vibration of Uranus, where people are acting out of character and being just exhibiting shocking behavior, and you may be making decisions to limit your exposure to these people, or sort out what the heck to do to protect yourself from what the heck they are doing. So this is a very big thing for Sagittarius. This is a long-term thing. And, you will be working with people being stranger than usual in not so good ways, but also possibly good ways. You may find that you're drawn to a lot of eccentric people. A higher vibration of Uranus is, eccentric and interesting and idiosyncratic people. So you may have, a diverse range of new people that you're interacting with over this time, this month and beyond. It could have also been starting already. That you're starting to pull in, these forward-thinking, community-minded, tech-savvy people that are helping you to revolutionize how you see the world. What kinds of things may happen over this time? Sudden changes in partnerships, breakups, breakthroughs, unusual attractions. You may have the topic of freedom come up in major ways, and you may find that you are getting some freedom within your relationship space, needing it, demanding it, commanding it, experiencing it. People around you may be needing more freedom. This could happen as a natural occurrence, like for instance, your children entering different stages where they require more freedom and they can handle more freedom, which not only gives them freedom, but also gives you more freedom. So this is a very personally liberating experience as you find that the ways that you have navigated what you are and who you are and what your roles are starting to change very drastically. Thinking of parents a lot in this particular thing, being a parent myself, where you go through the stages where your kids get to these places where it's like, oh, wow, okay, so they don't need me for that anymore. And then if you were defining yourself in many ways on being a parent, that's changing. So a lot of people are, Saggies in this are having your roles change, whether it's through parental roles, whether it's through caring for your parents and that role changing, whether it's through work roles or just other kinds of things. You're in a very big, major process of the topic of freedom, yours and other people's, changing how you are and who you are. And so that can feel a little bit unstable, but just breathe through knowing that freedom is the goal, and that you can still have your close personal attachments and have great relationships, and they're just going to develop with a little bit more open space, maybe than before. So you may be liberated from codependent dynamics. That's another positive expression. You may notice that things that other people are going through close to you may make you become introspective, asking the questions if you need more of the things that the people in your life are asking for. So this is a very big change process of who you are and what you're doing with other people and your relationship space. And that can lead to a lot of instability, but it can also lead to a lot of excitement and innovation and new ways of being that can be very liberating for you. So let's see what else we have. We've got the full moon on July 10th at 18 degrees of Capricorn. Now for Saggies, this is fullness, completion, fruition, possibly drama coming to your money house. So you could have a bunch of money come in, money that you were expecting, money that you weren't expecting, a big payday for Saggy. This could be a big cost, but can also come with a big, something that you're getting. So like maybe a big purchase is made or something comes to you and now you've got this money or this thing that you've been wanting. And it could be something you've been wanting for a really long time. So, you will see this fullness, this completion, this possibly drama, for better or worse, come in your money sector in the days around July 10th. In the days around July 24th, we've got the new moon at 2 degrees of Leo. And we already talked about the 9th house and the Mercury retrograde there. So the new moon in Leo just helps to bring new energy and new chapters in all of your teaching, learning, international endeavors. And this can also include language learning. If you like my sweet salty dates and you want more of them with a full detailed report, go to anniehelpsyou.com. Sign up for my free VIP community newsletter. I send out weekly reports with lots of information and links to things I've created to help you make the most of the starry opportunities. When you get the welcome letter, just click on the archive link. It will be very clearly indicated, and you can put July 2025 astrology in the search bar to get this sweet and salty report to see more about the great dates. We've got a very unbusy sky from the perspective of aspects this month, but we've got a lot of sweet aspects this month. So you can see them all. If you want to align important actions with the dates, you can have all of that there. If you're curious as to how all of these outer planet changes may be manifesting in general and in your chart, check out my personalized reports at anniebclarity.com. Annie, the letter B, clarity.com, and check out the outer planet transit report. And I do have another report there you can see. If your education process of that 9th house has to do with learning astrology, I'm your girl, especially if you resonate with how I teach. Go to beastropro.com, beastropro.com, and that will take you right to my astrology certification course, which is very comprehensive. I am a polyglot. I speak different languages, and I set up this course through the perspective of someone who is a language learner because astrology is a language. So I organize it in a building process so that you can have a fantastic foundation and continue to grow and grow with your astrology usage, including how to earn money as an astrologer. So go to beastropro.com, beastropro.com. I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next month. Bye.